My name is Andreas Alfons, I'm 40 years old, and I'm an Associate Professor for Statistics and Data Science at the Econometric Institute. My main hobby is cycling, so that's basically all I think about is bikes, and I like working on bikes, I like riding bikes. I like cats, although I don't have one, but they're just fantastic. I studied applied mathematics, and high school mathematics is very different from university mathematics, and that transition was something that I struggled with. Took me about a year to catch up and get my act together, and from then on, like second year onwards, it was going pretty well. Many people inspired me. First and foremost, my parents, I would say. So they come from more like a working class background. At least my father and my mom grew up on a farm. Like they didn't have access to education in the sense that, they had to earn money. Going to university was not an option. So for them, they really inspired me and my brother to get a good education, get the best education, to keep learning like lifelong. That's the main thing. Another thing that inspired me is the open source software community who builds products for themselves, products built by the community for the community with the freedom of modifying it as you please, which is quite different from, products that are proprietary that you get from a company that you have no clue on how exactly they work. In that sense, academic life is quite related to that. You have the freedom of doing your work and modifying what other people have been doing. So that's had a huge influence on me. How I ended up at Erasmus University is, I met Patrick Kroene at the conference during one summer, and he's now the Dean of ESE. Back then he was just a professor at the Econometric Institute. He told me that they have a position, and even though I was not really looking, I just applied. What I like the most about my job is probably the research part. Research and teaching are things that I don't think that you can really separate. It's our job to generate knowledge, and what good is doing that if you don't pass it on to the next generation? When people do certain statistical analyses, regression analyses, you students, you might know the OLS estimator for regression analysis. So what people often do is they put a mathematical penalty on the coefficients to shrink them a little bit, because that can have advantages in certain situations. And because you put this mathematical penalty to shrink the coefficients, people thought, okay, this is much more robust to strange things that you might find in the data that can drive your coefficients to arbitrary values. But it turns out that this is really not the case. So in our work, we proved that, still a single observation, if you move that around, you can basically move this regularized regression estimator to give you any coefficients that you want. So you don't really gain much in terms of the OLS estimator from the robustness perspective. So we proved that this is the case, and we also proposed estimators that are more robust for your regression coefficients. The main focus of my research is really to find methods for data analysis, statistics, machine learning that work in a broad sense, in a broader set of circumstances. So this university is quite different from the place where I have studied. So I've studied at Vienna University of Technology. One thing that this university has is that it's very applied in its thinking. So as a researcher, it really encourages you to do research that has a more direct societal impact. Internships, case studies with companies are part of the curriculum. Doing your master's thesis in combination with an internship at a company, that's part of the curriculum, or at least you can do that. Students also get a lot more support here. So when I was a student, we were often on our own. Here it's more like the students solve exercises with a teaching assistant, so they get a lot more support in that sense. Currently, I'm teaching the machine learning course in Master of Econometrics. I used to teach a course that was on how do you handle issues like outliers, how do you handle missing data, so things that are quite related to my own research. So that was my favorite course to teach while I was teaching it. I don't really believe in life mottos, but I have an attitude, don't fret over things that are out of your control. Like, it's so easy to lose yourself in like, oh, why did this happen to me? Or like, why did that person do this to me? Like, really nothing good can come from that. So focus what's in your control. Focus on, okay, I am here now. How do I get out of this? What do I need to do to move forward?